Good morning. Today we are continuing with those ratios, and today we're using two ratios to form a proportion. So we are doing CO31, and we're going to decide if the ratios make a proportion. Okay, so in order to know if it makes a proportion, we need to know what a proportion is. A proportion is equivalent fractions, rates, ratios, keyword, equivalent. What does it mean if something is equivalent? Okay. So we're multiplying that top or bottom by the same number. If we simplify them both, it's the same simplest form. So we're multiplying by the same number. Equivalent fraction, 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4, which is equivalent to 4/8. Okay, multiplying by the same number or dividing by the same number. So when we're looking for that proportion, we can simplify them down to the same number. So there are 5 ways that we can prove something is a proportion. This isn't one of those times where I say, oh, I'm going to teach you 3 different methods and pick which method works for you. There will actually be times where it makes more sense to do this way to prove our proportion than it makes sense to do that way. As we go through that, you'll start to see, oh, which ways make more sense to prove proportion. Peyton,
I know one of the ways.
what way do you think?
If you divide 12 by 3 and then divide 9 by 3.
So that is actually one of our ways. We call it a scale factor. With division. Who knows what a scale factor is? Henry, do you know what scale factor means? This is something that you'll see in big mathy ways. You might see it on the math test. They might say, oh, there's a scale factor of 3. Yes. So if it's a scale factor of 3, you're going to divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 gets me 3. 12 divided by 3 gets me the 4. So that scale factor is telling me what number I'm going to divide both the top and the bottom by. Okay, they're both divisible by 3. There's another scale factor, but this time instead of division, it is multiplication. So you could say, oh, I know to go from 3 to 9, I multiplied by 3. To go from 4 to 12, I multiply by 3. They have the same scale factor when I multiply. Not all proportions are going to be this easy where we can use the scale factors of multiplying up or dividing down. That's the easy ones where you look at it, you know your math facts, put it down. Sometimes knowing our math facts, we can look at it and go, oh, I know the scale factor. Got it. It's a proportion or it's not a proportion because I'm not multiplying by the same number or I am multiplying them both by the same number. So the scale factors they're the easy ones. But we will come to some that we can't use that scale factor as easily. So if we look at our next one, 3 6 to 4/8. To go from 3 to 4 and to go from 6 to 8, I don't know off the top of my head what the scale factor would be. I just don't know it. And that's okay. I don't have to use my calculator to divide down and multiply it. No, I can simplify. Sometimes we can simplify down. So simplifying is a method that we use. 3/6 is the same as what? 1/2. 4/8 simplified down is what, oh my goodness, they are equal. Look at that. I can simplify down to the same fraction. So I don't have to mess around with finding a scale factor. I can just simplify down and say, oh, they simplify down to the same number. Now our next two are a little bit trickier. So we really need to listen. Okay? They're not hard, but they're not as easy as the scale factors and simplifying. We've worked with scale factors, multiplying by the same number, dividing by the same number. We've worked with simplifying. This next one, we're going to use cross products.
What?
We have used cross products before. What does it mean? Peyton?
It means you multiply 25 by 114 and then 15 by 190.
So I multiply diagonally, cross products. So I'm going to say 15 times 190, and I'm going to do 25 times 114 if they are proportion, they're going to equal the same number. So 15 times 190 is 2,850. 25 times 114 is 2,850. So when we're looking at those big fractions, and we go, oh my goodness, I look at it and mental math doesn't tell me what scale factor to multiply by. And I look at that and go, I don't want to have to simplify 114 over 190. That's a lot of simplifying I have to do. I don't want to do that. Okay, you could, but it's not quite so easy. Easier is just to find the cross products. Are they the same? Peyton?
But then sometimes, like in fifth grade, we used to have to show what the simplest form is of the fraction, so then you do have to simplify.
So sometimes, yes, you have to show simplified form. We're in big kid math now. What?
No way.
Big kid math says, big kid, oh, friends, you do understand that I am recording this lesson and that is very disrespectful and rude. When we're in the upper math, you don't always have to do those little works, but you do have to show your work. This is showing my work. I don't have to simplify it out. I'm going to say though that, hey, I'm going to use cross products and I'm multiplying and I'm getting this. I don't have to go and do this and actually multiply it out. I can use my calculator now, but I have to show what my calculation is that I'm putting into my calculator. Like I was talking about with those practice works. I could see where people went wrong. Hey, you put the wrong digit into your calculation, that's why you got the wrong answer. Or you know what? You wrote the calculation right, but you must have put the number into your calculator wrong. So we're going to show our work like this, but we're not going to have to go down to the simplified because now in pre-algebra, I know that you know how to simplify. So you don't have to show me, prove that you know how to simplify because I already know it. One more method. This is decimal values. So to do decimal values, we're going to find the decimal of each fraction. How do I find the decimal of 8/7? Asher?
8 divided by 7.
8 divided by 7. So I can put that into my calculator. 8 divided by 7 is what number? Okay.
1.14.
1.14. So I'm going to find the decimal of my second fraction. 28 divided by 24.5. What do I get when I put that into my calculator, Emerson? 1.14. I know it's a proportion if I take my numerator and I divide it by my denominator, and they both are the same decimal. They have to be the same. Same decimals, same cross products. That's how we know it's a proportion. Addie.
Like once you do all the things, would you put down like if you let's say you were doing the cross products, would you put down 2,080?
So when we're working with this, it's going to say, are these a proportion? So I'm going to do this to show my work. In my example, they are all proportions. So these are all yeses. But if we go to look at our assignment on the next page, we don't know if they're a proportion or not. So on this one, it says using two of the methods discussed on the front side, determine if the values are proportional. And like I was saying, we're going to show our work. You're going to show me which method you're using. And then the answer, Addie was asking, is 2,850 your answer? No, the answer is going to be yes or no. Are they a proportion? So doing the work, 2,850, 2,850, yes, they're a proportion because they're the same number. So if we look at this first one, I can simplify. That's the first thing I see. 4/5, and I can divide this by a 5, and I get 4/5. So my answer is yes, because they both simplified to 4/5. Am I done? Why not, Emerson? Oh my goodness, it says use two methods. So I'm going to prove it, make sure I didn't do my math wrong, and I'm going to do a second method. How about if what is another method? Damien.
You do 4 divided by 5. And then 20 divided by
What is 4 divided by 5, Damien?
0.80.
And what is 20 divided by 25?
0.80. 3.
0.80 or 83?
0.80.
Don't be telling me the wrong thing, Grayson. So, again, doing it two different ways, they both prove that it is proportionate. If I can't simplify down to the same number, doing the decimals or different decimals, my answer is going to be no. Okay, if the multiplying across is by different numbers, to go from 3 to 39, what do I multiply by?
13.
13. What's 7 times 13?
91.
Is it?
Yes.
So 7 times 13. So I know using that scale factor multiplying by 13, that scale factor proves it is. I need to prove it another way. So I could do the scale factor of 13. That proves it. Try the second way and prove it. Do the cross products. Do the decimal. Simplify 39 over 91 down. Do you get 3/7? Show two ways, and we're going to be looking for your answer. Are they yeses? Are they nos? If it's a no with one way, it should be a no for all those ways. If it's a yes for one way, it should be a yes for all of the ways. You can do any of the any of the ways. You could do any proportion. Some are just easier than others. I looked at 4/5 and 20 over 25, and I wanted to simplify. That's just what popped into my head. Something else might have popped into your head. Maybe you wanted to do the scale factors. I simplified. It's your choice on how you're going to show it. Then we have some word problems on the bottom. You need to look and make sure that you know what the actual question is asking. Yes, we're working with proportions, but then answer the question and make sure you're answering it correctly. Because it's not going to be, is this a proportion? There's going to be more to it. Okay, so make sure you're answering the question. Any questions on today's assignment? When you finish the assignment, make sure your Khan Academy is done. I still have several people who have not finished Khan Academy. That is due tonight. When you're done with Khan Academy, make sure you have practice work done name on top and turn in, because practice work, we're doing retakes tomorrow. So that's the next important thing. Khan Academy, then practice work, then work on that math packet. I'm working on correcting math packets. I'm trying to get those back to you. You might get them back today. Okay? Fix your mistakes. If you're all caught up with all of math, then it's Math Masters binders. And I have I have ones to pass back. I forgot to pass back yesterday. So I will pass those back. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.